Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all the assembled devotees. Thank you once again for taking out your precious time, Sunday morning. Let us start our day by prayers to our Guru Parampara and Shri Radha Govinda and move on with our session today. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadadi Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripri Vancha Kalpatarubhasya cha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Guru Maharaj ki Jai Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So we are starting our last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18. So before moving on with chapter 18, let us have a quick recap of what we learned in chapter 17 and then move on. So somebody can take up. Who is to go ahead? Hare Krishna. We concluded chapter 17 with a very important knowledge. So just want to recap and then move further. Who is to take up? Any points? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, basically, it is the total chapter is based on Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic gunas, and it started with the faith. So faith also depends upon the Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic gunas, and on the basis of faith, the Sattvic person has the clarity and understanding leading to peace and welfare in the faith phase, and Rajasic person is driven by personal gains, ego leading to attachment and unrest in the faith phase, and Tamasic is characterized by ignorance and delusion leading to negligence and harm. So then we came to the worship phase. In worship phase, we have the same things. The Sattvic worshipper does it with the pure intention and devotion and discipline, and follows the spiritual guidelines, and also he goes through whatsoever is taught to him by the disciplined succession. And the Rajvik person performs for the materialistic gain with arrogance and pride. So he would also do few things according to scriptures, but at the same time, internally, he is thinking for his self benefits and fruits, what he is going to gain out of it. So, and at the same time, the tamasic person is devoured by lack of understanding, lacking sincerity, and performs without knowing what is going to happen as consequences by worshipping in that fashion. And it's not totally based on the sculptures or religious books. Then we came down to the section of the food, which is also very important. Basically, in Hindi, there is a kahavat, jaisa an vaisa man. So, whatsoever you take in, so if you take garbage in, the garbage out will come out of you. So, this is the most important thing, and basically, the fantastic thing which everyone, if follows, he will really do everything good in his life. So, sattvic food is fresh, wholesome, nourishing, and it gives the strength to the health to perform all the activities. And your immune system is good, your everything is good. So, it's a fresh food. Sort of say it's cooked. It should be taken within 3 hours after cooking. And if a person follows a religious activities very nicely, so in that case, he knows already that when he goes to the temple, the food cooked is always fresh. It does not include the ingredients which are not, say, having much more spices, which are not having, say, garlic and onion in it. And of course, non-veg is not present there. So tea, coffee like that, it's not offered to the Lord. So that is the thing the sattvic person would like to do. And while you are coming in the Krishna consciousness, you learn these things because they tell you not to do few things which are related to this particular chapter. So that this particular chapter is the base of Krishna consciousness. If we follow these principles regarding the food and the worshipping the things and the faith also we develop in the same fashion, we are then practicing Krishna conscious from the very beginning. So in the Rajasic, it's spicy, salty food, whatsoever it's take. So it is basically the tongue. You get taste in the tongue. So you want tasty foods. And it gives discomfort and restlessness to you. So if you are doing meditation or any sort of thing, I don't think by having such sort of food, you will be, say, much more concentrating on the things what you are supposed to do in comparison to the person who is taking a sattvic food. And tamasic person, you know very well what he does while he's taking the food. So he takes all, say, non-veg stuff. He takes liquor. He will take so many other things also. So he basically, it is basically a lesson to us also. Once we are working in the corporate, we go for drinking, we go for non-veg, all stuff. And after the age of 40s or 50s, there is a ailment, whether it's diabetes or hypertension or whatsoever is there. So this point is also very important. Then we have got the different types of austerities what we perform. So sattvic person does it in a disciplined way. So for example, I have to do a mala of, say, 16 rounds per day. I will do 16 rounds for 2 hours continuously, and I follow it in a proper way for my spiritual growth without thinking that I will get some benefit out of it. Then the Rasic person basically does it for, say, ego and recognition from the others. For example, right now I'm, say, talking. If no one knows what is in my brain going on, so if I think that, oh, okay, I'll speak in length and breadth about Bhagavad Gita, and 50% will listen to me, then 10% people will give me money and this and blah blah blah. So that is sort of, or they will say, oh, he is a very good orator. We should salute him like that. So this is the Rajas guna in astrosity. So tamasic person, he is ignorant and he does not know while he is talking what harm he will do to himself as well as to others. So he will read something in the book and then he will say, okay, this book, holy book says like this. which is not totally related to basically the sculptures what we have. Right, this is the basic difference between. So right now we have got so many sadhus and gurus who are there and who say so many things which are not totally following the principles of religious activities. So then the last and the most important is the charity. Again, according to three gunas, it is said that though the sattvic person does everything in the charity, he does not want anything in the return. Even few people, you say, there has been one example of Rahimji. He used to give dana, but while giving the dana, he will always keep his eyes towards the ground. He will never say, I am a big dani inside. So he never wants anything in return. While in Rajasic sort of thing, the person gives dana, he thinks that if I feed so many cows or I give this particular money to the poor, so I will get fame, name, and everything, or my Greh Shanti will take place. So this is the Rajasic sort of a person. Tamasic person does anything charity for sake of just doing it. He does not know what harm will be done. So he will give money to, say, for example, his friend is saying he is not having money to play cards, so he will give money to him. So if his friend is not having, say, money, or friend or some person he sees near him, so far, if for example he is sitting in the bar, so he sees a poor person sitting outside, so he will offer a liquor to him. Okay, enjoy the life. So like that. So we should be very cautious while doing the charity. Otherwise, we will also go into the papa. In conclusion, basically, practicing sattvic faith and worship, food habits, astrosity, and charity leads to spiritual growth and liberation, while Rajasic and Tamasic bind you again. Janma and Mrityu cycle, you will be here only roaming around. So it's always advisable to always offer whatsoever in the name of God only, because He has only given you the strength to do everything in life, whether it is developing faith, whether it is developing, say, worshipping will, whether it is, say, whatsoever food you are eating, He is only giver of it to you. So that's why it's always stressed that first offer to the Lord and then take the food to you. And at the same time, astrosity should be also done according to sculptures without any, say, benefit. So whatsoever will be given by Lord, that will be given by Lord itself. And charity also at the same time, you should never claim that I will get something in the return. It's the Lord who is giving you everything. So that's why the word Om Tat Sat comes into existence. So ultimately, in last, the Om Tat Sat is the main thing. Everything is only the God which gives us. So that's why if we offer, say, some offering to our ancestors also, Om Tat Sat is uttered first. Or even the word Om comes in every mantra. So always the Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu is first prayed, and then other things start. In this, this is what I could understand. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
And at the same time, basically in gunas only itself it comes. So it depends which way you are, whether you are praying to the Lord or you are praying to the demigods or ghost or yakshas. So it depends upon. So the gunas come there also. So they are also related to the God itself. So if you are praying for, say, Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, so there the sattvic, and basically Lord Krishna only the sattvic guna will exist there, and then to the demigods you will come through the rajas and tamas. So tamas basically is related to ghosts, say black magic and other. This is my understanding. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. Very elaborately, you have covered the entire chapter, and you have not left nothing much for me to add into it. So, very nicely covered. Appreciate your detailed points.
basically,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, it's game of say initial three words SRT, that is Satvik, Rajasic, and Tamasic, and then it is followed by the five other words, that is FWFAC, that is faith, worship, okay, faith, worship, and then
Sacrifices, austerity, and charity.
yeah, sacrifice, food, basically food, atrocities, and charity. So it is
Right.
combination of 5 plus 3. It's 8 words. If one remembers, the 17th chapter goes. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So we understood that from chapter 17, that one's faith, we can see based on the food we take, the sacrifices we do, the austerities we do, and the charity we give in different modes. So we can understand what mode we are. And one important point we discussed, when we do this austerity, we do Ekadashi fasting, Gaura Purnima is coming, we do fasting till sunset. So why are we doing this fasting? So one important point we discussed. Anybody remember? Why do we do this austerity? Why do we do austerities? Anybody in the class? Jaideep Prabhu already spoke at length. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, is it for our purification?
Yes, purification is one thing, yes. But the main reason is when we do charity, we are trying to rise above the bodily needs. Most of the time, we are putting all our effort to satisfy our bodily needs, right? Our sleeping, our eating, taking rest, everything we are giving, taking care of our body. From our acharyas, we have learned we have to treat this body like our maid servant, but we are treating our body as our masters. So when we are doing any of these austerities, we are rising above those bodily needs and the rising in realization that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. Yeah, so this is a very important realization we all have to take forward. And the second important point we discussed is charity. What will charity does? Yes, again, as Mataji said, it will purify. What will it purify? We are completely attached to our material opulences, relationships. We are completely attached to it. When we are giving charity without expecting any return out of it, so you are relieving your attachment to your material opulences, right? And how do we need to do charity? The charity should be always in the mood of our duty. It is our duty to give charity to sannyasis, brahmacharis, for the Krishna consciousness, spreading the Krishna consciousness activity. So for the right person, right place, right purpose, we need to give charity. And as a matter of duty, this is second important lesson we learned. And we concluded saying everything is for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Om Tat Sat. What is the significance of these three words? Om, we are remembering the Supreme Lord. Tat signifies that I don't need any material gains from this activity. And Sat, I'm doing this activity for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So whatever we are doing, we continue to go to various demigod. We already discussed about at length about demigod worship. So wherever we are going, wherever we are offering any worship or any puja, whatever it is, so we need to offer it by saying Hari Om Tat Sat. Yeah, we are doing this for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. And then finally, this chapter concluded that without faith in the Supreme Lord, with this mood, Rest all other thing what we are trying to do, it is impermanent and asat. So finally we have to surrender to the Supreme Lord. That is the message we are taking out of this chapter. Now we move to chapter 18. It's a long chapter, about 78 slokas. This summarizes the entire Bhagavad Gita. So it may require 3 sessions. So today, tomorrow, and next Sunday, we will conclude our chapter 2 advanced Bhagavad Gita classes. I truly appreciate all of your patience. You continue to be patient with me and continue to join, give your valuable association. And we are in the last leg. So continue to give your association. Let us complete this chapter. Most importantly, I've been telling many times to complete your respective quizzes. Hope you are all doing that. By end of next Sunday, when we conclude, I want to see all of you have completed your quizzes and moving further in your spiritual journey further. Yeah. So out of sections, when I see there are about almost 11 sections, 18.1 to 18.12, we talk about Karma Yoga, freedom from this bondage of material entanglement through our Karma Yoga. And it gives the significance of doing our prescribed duties and renounce the fruits of work and not the work itself. So this very important knowledge we are all going to refresh. We already learned in Karma Yoga section, but we are going to refresh. Many people coming into Krishna consciousness, coming into bhakti, immaturely they want to leave everything and to take up full time. So here is the message. First of all, there are so much of anarthas within us. It should purify. And how does this purification happen? By engaging in our prescribed duties, offering the results to the Supreme Lord. And then section next 18 chapter 13 to 18, we discuss about 5 factors of actions. In our ignorance, we always think we are the doer. Whenever something good happens, we get proud about our accomplishments. Whenever some failure happens, we ask question to the Lord, why this has happened to me? At the same time, when something good has happened, when some success has come, how many times we have gone to Lord and said, I don't deserve this. It is your causeless mercy. So that is the mood and attitude of a very humble devotees. And then 19 to 40, we discuss at length again about the modes controlling all our activities. And 41 to 48, we discuss again further about purification through prescribed duties and about Varnashrama Dharma. And 56 to 66, we discuss pure bhakti, pure devotional service, acting in Krishna consciousness. And finally, 67 to 78, entire Bhagavad Gita, Krishna concludes, give the conclusion. So the section A, acting with detachment is true renunciation and brings freedom from reaction. Sloka, here Arjuna is enquiring what is better. It is sannyasa or tyaga. And through the slokas 1, 2 to 6, Krishna gives the definition of what is sannyasa and what is tyaga and what is to be followed. And then 7 to 12, it talks about renunciation in 3 modes. So here it is very important. We need to understand renouncing one's prescribed duties in illusion is ignorance. Renouncing one's prescribed duty out of fear Many times we are facing a lot of challenges at work or in our family responsibilities or outside society, and we are withdrawing from our prescribed duty for that. That is out of passion. But dutifully performing prescribed duty in detachment, irrespective of whether you're getting success or failure, such renunciation is goodness. And such renuncer do not suffer the reaction of those work. So this is very important knowledge we are going to take from this section A. Let us move to the first sloka for the day. Somebody can take up, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Arjuna Uvacha Sannyasasya Mahabaho Tattvam Ichchami Veditam Tyagasya cha Rishikesha Pritha Kesi Nisudana. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Arjun said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, Tyaga, and the renounced order of life, Sannyasa, O killer of the Keshi demon, master of the senses. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So as said, the chapter 18 is the summary of all chapters of 17. So what are we gaining out of this 17th chapter? This is, as we know, Bhagavad Gita is a manual for us to lead our life. It gives us the ultimate goal. What is the purpose of this human form? So what did we learn out of the 17th chapter? What is our goal of this human form? Hare Krishna.
I can try Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Basically to progress in Krishna consciousness and to live our lives for the pleasure of the Lord than for our own pleasure.
Yes, Mataji. So how do we do this? That is our life. How do we do? How do we please the Lord? Yeah. How do we live in Krishna consciousness? That is devotional service. Devotional service onto the lotus feet of Supreme Lord by taking shelter of our Guru Parampara in association of devotees. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. There are 9 devotional service we have discussed at length, starting with chanting of holy names. So this is the purpose. The result is pleasure, love of Godhead. But what is the purpose of this life, this body, mind and soul is to engage in devotional service. And the same has been summarized in this chapter. So 3 sections of Bhagavad Gita. First section we learned, which stresses about devotional service by engaging in our prescribed duties, that is Karma Yoga. And the chapter 6 concludes with a sloka, Bhagavad Gita 6.47, which says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktya mataha. What it says, among all the yogas which was discussed, Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. So Krishna says Bhakti Yoga is the topmost and then introduce Bhakti Yoga through next 6 chapters. So the next 6 chapters discuss about pure devotional service. What is pure devotional service? We are all doing devotional service. What is pure devotional service? Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavrutam anukulasya krishnanushilanam bhakti ruchyate. So Anya abhilashita shunyam, without any expectation in return, we are selflessly serving the devotees of the Supreme Lord so that those devotees can serve the Lord better. We can't directly reach out to Lord and serve. We have to serve the Supreme Lord. Through this Guru Shishya Parampara, our services will reach the Supreme Lord. And finally, the last 6 chapter we have discussed is the knowledge, renunciation, activities of material nature, transcendental nature, and then finally we conclude with devotional service. So the entire chapter, if you see, different activity, but the end goal is to engage in devotional service. So that is the very importance. Whatever knowledge we are gaining, if it is not leading to our selfless service attitude, that knowledge is of no use. So now, having completed this level 2, how do we progress now? Whatever further level 3, level 4, level 5, whatever knowledge we are gaining, now what is the practical application of this knowledge is by engaging in devotional service. So multiple times we discussed already, many of the devotees are taking up various services in expanding this preaching mission. So today around 12:30 we are having one meeting of all the service volunteers who have selflessly worked for the success of this level 2. We invite you all devotees, whoever want to join this team can come, spend some time, so you can understand what kind of services are going behind, backstage. Now I am sitting in front of you and talking about this Bhagavad Gita. A lot of efforts of lot of devotees are going in. So you can join and understand what all various service opportunities are there, and you can see what you can contribute from your end, so that we can collectively spread these glories of holy name and knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to as many conditioned souls as possible in coming days. Yeah. So 12:30 is the meeting. Kirti Mataji will share the meeting link. So take out time, please join, so that you get first-hand information about what all services goes behind it and what efforts or what time. You get better clarity of those services. And then it was concluded that all acts should be performed in conjunction with the Supreme Lord's will. And that is how we say Om Tat Sat, for the pleasure of the Lord. And the purpose of the life is to renounce from the material activities, renounce from the fruits of activities, and engage in devotional service. So this is the platform for us to engage in such, get trained in such devotional service. Through that, the purification happens. There are a lot of egos, lot of pride. Everything will be purified as we continue to engage in devotional service, and we can all progress in Krishna consciousness. So next sloka.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mata.
Sri Bhagavan Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam Prahustyagam Vichakshanaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The Supreme Lord said, to give up the results of all activities is called renunciation, tyaga, by the wise. And that state is called the renounced order of life, sannyasa, by great learned men. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. The performance of activities for the results to be given up is what it is being told here. Phalam Tyaga. This is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. So what we need to learn is we need to do our prescribed duties and leave the results to the Lord. It could be success or failure. It is Krishna's. And what kind of activity we need to leave? Any activities leading to our spiritual advancement, our knowledge should not be given up. What should be given up? That is, people are doing many sacrifices for their material gains, material happiness, prosperity. No harm in prospering in our personal or professional life, but what are we doing with the results of that prosperity is very important. If we are utilizing that prosperity for our sense enjoyment or engaging in service of the Supreme Lord, service of the devotees of the Lord, That is what matters. And when we talk about sacrifice, what is the sacrifice prescribed by our acharyas in Kali Yuga is Nama Sankirtana Yagna, isn't it? Multiple times we discussed. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nameva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. So why 3 times it is told Harer Nama? It could have been told Hare Nama is Kevalam. Why it is been told Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nameva Kevalam? What do you think? Maybe we might have discussed this. Let us recollect that. Why 3 times is called out? Hare Krishna, somebody want to give a try?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Lord Chaitanya wants to emphasize the fact that the chanting of the holy name is the only way that we can progress in our Krishna consciousness and attain, go back to Godhead.
Yes, Mataji. So, good answer. So, giving emphasis by calling out 3 times, that shows the importance of Harinam. And philosophically, what we also need to understand is the 3 times when he is calling out, it is also signifies that neither Karma Yoga, nor Jnana Yoga, nor Ashtanga Yoga can work in Kali Yuga, only Bhakti Yoga. So, at the same time, we need to understand we are not purified enough to leave everything and straight away go to Bhakti Yoga. Through Karma Yoga, through the purification process, we are rising this ladder of Bhakti. And what we need to understand is Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service, is only can enable us to break free from this material attachment, entanglements, and help us to go back to Krishna. Next sloka, please. Hare Krishna. The season, end of season sale, it is last chapter. So, as I always say, grab this opportunity of reciting slokas. Hare Krishna. Go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah. त्याज्यं दोषवद् वद इति एके कर्म प्राहुर्मनसिनः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म नात्याज्यम् इति चापरे.
Some learned men declare that all kind of repetitive activities should be given up. But there are yet other sages who maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So some say sacrifices of animal is not recommended. Some says, as per Vedic literature also, previously animal killing was going on. Some counter saying that the animals which was killed will get a human form so that it can continue the bhakti and go back to Krishna. So all such contradicting things will be clarified by Lord Krishna in further slokas. So even here when you see, it said that all kind of fruitive activities should be given up, and great sages says the sacrifices, charity and penance which is for the pleasure of the Lord should not be abandoned. So next sloka.
Hare Krishna. Yagnadana tapa karma natyajyam karyam evatat yagnodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manisinam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So this sloka tells us that the acts of sacrifice, charity and penance should not be given up, and it will help even the great souls to rise in their spiritual understanding. For example, some of the rituals like marriage ceremony. Now, the sannyasi has accepted renounced order of life and left his family. Should such sannyasi encourage such ceremony? So here, Krishna says such purificatory process should not be given up. So as per Varnashrama Dharma, it is said the person in lower order of the system can follow Vivaha Yagna. So they can get into Grihastha life. Otherwise, what happens? Without their maturity, there will be too much of disturbance in the society. Similarly, the charity to be given to the suitable person, as described, such charity which is done as a matter of duty will help one to advance in spiritual life. Otherwise, what happens? If you are not doing charity, what happens? Bhagavad Gita 2.44 sloka, it says, Bhogaishcharya prasaktanam tayapahata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samodau na vidyate. So, one who is too attached to his material opulences and sense enjoyment, he will not get determination in progressing in devotional service. So, charity is very important for us to progress in our devotional services. Next sloka.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mata.
एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मदमुत्तमम्. Hare Krishna.
All these activities should be performed without any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pratha. That is my final opinion. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
So here Krishna's final opinion is all these activities, the sacrifices, charity, penances, it all to be done as a matter of duty for the pleasure of the Lord. So this make it very clear, all sacrifices which are for the material advancement should be given up and spiritual advancement to be taken up. Even Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms this, that the activities which leads us to rise in our devotional service and devotional service to the Supreme Lord should be accepted. That is what we also learn from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.255. Anasaktasya vishayam yataram yupayunjato nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya uchyate. So you accept everything which can utilize for the service of the Lord and reject everything which takes you away from the progress what you are making in your spiritual realization. Next sloka.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Niyatasya tu sannyasa karmano no papadyate mohatasya parikyagas tamasa parikirpita.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prescribed duties should never.
Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Please go ahead.
Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Yeah. And the right hand side, there is a picture. There is also translation of 18.6, 18.8 sloka. So anyone who gives up, this also you may read, Prabhuji. Right hand side, downside,
Sure.
below the image.
Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. So it's again a very important sloka. Sannyasis should not cook for oneself, it is said, whereas he can cook to offer the prasad to the Lord. Sannyasis can perform Vivaha Yagna for his disciples for their spiritual advancement. So all these things they are prescribed to do. If one renounces such activity, telling that I am now a sannyasi, I am not going to do, it is mode of darkness. And Shloka 18.8, if you are leaving your sadhana, your prescribed duties because of the bodily discomforts, such renunciations are in the mode of passion. Such actions, what you do, such renunciations, what you do, is not going to lead any elevation in your spiritual progress. So this table gives a clear understanding how we need to progress with our prescribed duties. So one who is in ignorance, with the illusion, he renounces prescribed duties. One who is in passion is going through some difficulties. He has some fear of facing the situation. He will renounce his prescribed duties. Whereas in mode of goodness, one does his activities as a matter of duty. He rises to the mode of goodness. So one who is in the mode of goodness is neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to the auspicious work, and has no doubt about his prescribed duty, because he clearly understands whatever duties he is doing, it is mercy of the Lord and it is for his purification. So next shloka, it is only English translation, somebody can read.
Hare Krishna. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such results to suffer or enjoy. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
So right hand side there is 18.12. So these also you can read, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. The intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of the inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. Bhagavad Gita 18.10.
Thank you. So it is now said in Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. What it says is we have to continue to, we have taken the responsibilities in our life. We have taken any job or whatever it is, we have to see it as a mercy of Krishna, and we need to continue to work and leave these fruits of result for the Supreme Lord. That is actual, such a person is the actual renuncer. We have seen many devotees work very hard, but what they are doing, what is the difference between a materialistic person or a devotee? Materialistic person is working very hard for his sense enjoyment. He want to give the best of the best pleasures to his family. At the same time, a person, a spiritually advanced person, also works very hard, but he is working for the pleasure of the Lord, utilizing these fruits of his activity in engaging in service of the Lord. And 18.12, a person in Krishna consciousness or in the mode of goodness does not hate any work. There is no work big or small. There is no service big or small. In service of the Lord, Bhava Grahi Janardana, he sees the Bhava, not the kind of work what you are doing. For Krishna, a preacher sitting in front of the camera and taking a class, and a admin or a volunteer sending out a class link, it is same for Krishna. With the devotion, if an admin forwards this link with a mood that through this class link today, there are 18 to 20 devotees are going to join and learn this knowledge. So I need to do it judiciously. That mood is very important. So such a person situated in transcendence should be understood to be the most intelligent person. So now we are moving to the next section, section B. This talks about all the causes of all the right as well as wrong actions in our life. So a foolish person think that he is the doer. But what we learn from this section is there are 5 factors of any action, which is called place of action, the performer, the senses, the endeavors, and ultimately the Supreme Lord, Supreme Will, the Supreme Soul within. And what we understand from this is acting under the Supreme Will's direction, one is unaffected by the reaction of such work. Bhagavad Gita 3.27, the shloka says, Prakre Prakrite kirya manani gunai karmani sarvasa ahankara vimuddatma karta ham iti manyate. The meaning of this is the spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks he is the doer. So here we understand the 5 factors which leads to some action. So that is what we are going to learn next 5 to 6 shlokas. So somebody can take up.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Panchetaani mahabaho karanani nibodha me sankhye kritande proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam adhishtanam tadha karta karanam cha pridakvidam vividasya pridak cheshta devam chaivatra panjamam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Patani.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. O mighty armed Arjuna, learn from me of the 5 factors which bring about the accomplishment of all action. These are declared in Sankhya philosophy to be the place of action, the performer, the senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So here a question may be raised that since all activity have some reaction, how a person who is acting in Krishna consciousness do not suffer or enjoy the reaction of the work. We learned from Bhagavad Gita 15.15 shloka, Sarvasya chaham vidhi sannivisto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha Vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. So here Krishna gives the intelligence, remembrance and knowledge sitting within us as Paramatma. He guides us. So all such acts done under the directions of the Supreme Lord yield no reaction, either in this life or life after death, is what it is told. At the same time, one who is acting under the influence of Maya, Krishna is witnessing everything. Other day I was listening to one very senior devotee. He says, our mind is such a worst enemy. Morning we keep alarm to get up in Brahma Muhurta. What we do? We snooze 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then in that 10-15 minutes, mind gives you 100 excuses not to wake up. And we tend to fall down again and again and again. There is always tomorrow. There is always later I can do this. How many times we have fallen down? Isn't it? Every time we fall, every time Maya wins. So the choice is ours. Every time we are in that situation, the choice is ours. The determination is ours. So with that determination, how this determination comes? In association of sincere devotees. Looking at them, we get inspired. So the conclusion of this sloka is all the actions under the supreme will. This is very important, not our will. All the actions under the supreme will of the Lord is not our actions. We are just instruments. At the same time, the actions based on our will, Krishna gives that free will to us. It is our action and it is going to take us away from the Supreme Lord. Next two slokas. Hare Krishna, we are running out of time. Please take it up.
Sariravan manobhirya karma parabhate nara nyayayam va viparitam va panchayate tasya hetava.
So next sloka.
Second sloka also. Okay.
Yes.
Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu ya pasyati akrata buddhitvan nasa pasyati durmai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So the 5 factors are detailed here. The place of action, that is body. The performer is the soul. The various senses of us. And the many different kind of endeavors. And ultimately the super soul, his will. All this together acts either a right or a wrong action. And foolish person thinks that he is the doer. The word right or wrong is significant here. What is right action? What is wrong action? Something, what is right to me could be wrong to you, or whatever is wrong, right to you could be wrong to me. So how do we define this right and wrong action? Every action in line with scriptural injunctions as given by our acharyas in our Guru Shishya Parampara, those are the action which is right action, and we need to follow our Guru Parampara. So we will quickly touch few more slokas. We are just entering into section C. This talks about the modes control all the activities. One's knowledge, one's action, the performance of action, one's understanding, determination, happiness, everything is controlled by what kind of activity we are doing and what we need to understand from this. Bhagavad Gita 7.14 Devi Isha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Evaye Prapadyante Mayam Eva Tarantite. So Krishna declaring that my divine energy consists of 3 modes of material nature is very difficult to overcome. Who can overcome? The one who has surrendered to the Supreme Lord can easily cross beyond these forces. So next 3 sloka will take 5 minutes and then we'll conclude. Ambika Mataji, you can try.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Sarvabhuteshu yenaikam bhavam avyayamikshade avibhaktam vibhakteshu tatjnanam vidhi satvikam pridaktvena tu yajnanam nana bhavan pridakvidhan veti sarveshu bhuteshu tatjnanam vidhi rajasam yattu kritsneva dekasmin karye saktam ahayvtukam atatvartha vadalpam cha tattamasam udahritam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Somebody
Hare
can
Krishna,
take the
Prabhuji.
yeah.
That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all existences, undivided in the divided, is knowledge in the mode of goodness. That knowledge by which a different type of living entity is seen to be dwelling in different bodies is knowledge in the mode of passion. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. So, chapter 14, we have discussed at length about three modes of material nature, isn't it? So, what comes to our mind when we talk about modes of goodness, modes of passion, and ignorance? So, mode of goodness is knowledge and light. Mode of passion is sense enjoyment and materialistic. And mode of ignorance is laziness, darkness, procrastination. All these things are the characteristics of a person in mode of ignorance. So, Shloka 18.20, this talks about the knowledge in mode of goodness. So, how does such a person see? The person sees a spirit soul in every living entity. It could be Brahmana, Shudra, dog, or a dog eater. Pandita Samadarshinaha. And 18.21, this talks about a person who is too attached to his bodily concepts. Should we not take care of this body? Definitely we need to take care of this body. Yeah, this body is like a temple where the Supreme Lord resides. We have to take care. Then what are we trying to understand? To take care of your body, if you are compromising on your spiritual practice, what is taking care of your body? If you are sleeping longer than what is required and not waking up in Brahma Muhurta chanting the holy names or various other austerities, such is abominable. Such things should be avoided. And the knowledge, 18.22, the knowledge of a common man is always in the mode of darkness or ignorance. It is said that Janmana Jayate Shudra. So everybody are born in this material world as Shudra. A person in mode of ignorance, for him, God is money. And what is the knowledge? Knowledge is satisfying his bodily demands. And such person is living like an animal, eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. What is the difference between us and animals? Such a person and with such a knowledge is in mode of ignorance. So what we understand from this is the knowledge concerning to the spirit soul, atato brahma jignasa, beyond this body, we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Such knowledge is in mode of goodness. And knowledge leading to lot of mental speculations, mental theories, many theories. Such knowledge, such speculative knowledge is mode of passion. And the knowledge which is with which we are trying to keep our body in a comfortable position, such knowledge is in mode of ignorance. So with this, I will end my session today at Shloka 22. Any quick questions from today's discussion you can discuss? I'm already running late to my next session. So any detailed questions we can take tomorrow also. Tomorrow evening we can stretch a little bit and try to cover as much as possible. So any quick questions or any important points from today's class which you wish to share for the benefit of all, we can discuss a couple of minutes and then we end the session. Hare Krishna. Happy to see so many devotees coming back. Request another 2 more classes. Continue to give your association. Continue. Let us summarize all that we have learned. There are so many important points to cover in next 2 class. So please continue to give your association. Take out time and let us meet tomorrow. Yeah, 12:30 meeting link will be shared, Mataji, in our level 2 class group. Right after this class, it will be shared. So looking forward for all the devotees here to join. Try to understand. Forget about you engage in service or you don't engage in service. That is your personal decision. But try to see what is happening in background behind this successful class. In fact, we are live, so maybe in my meeting I will tell. But most successfully, this level 2 session is going. So many participants are stayed till the last class. It is very rare to see. Only two reasons: mercy of our Guru Parampara and Krishna, and the selfless volunteers working behind the scene, who has helped you all to keep you all intact and come this far. So I'm deeply indebted to both. Right? So Vancha Kalpatarubhasya cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru Maharaj ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.